Welcome to the SFL, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here at Vanderbilt University.
Keep going, buddy.
It's on the shirt.
Vanderbilt University, home of the Commodores, and we have with us today my brother, Mr. Mark Kearns, and my son, Mr. Devin Kearns, to join us along with Commish 2, and we're going to be talking about some of the more significant aspects of Notre Dame football and some of the statistical analysis Dev has done in the SFL.
Let's get to it, okay?
Okay, so
It's going to take up the entire time of introduction.
And aspects. He's trying to look at big words. Okay, anyway, go ahead, Mark.
You have to ask a question. You have to ask a question. So,
All right, hold it. So Notre Dame football.
Alright.
Yay!
No, what we decided to talk about was Charlie Weiss.
Good.
What is Notre Dame's approach going to be to get rid of Charlie Weiss, or if that's the right approach at all? Mark, what do you think about Charlie Weiss in Notre Dame football?
Well, number one, I think Charlie Weiss is going to go. He's horrible. But, you know, you say Notre Dame. What's Notre Dame's approach? What was Notre Dame's approach in hiring the guy? I mean, you know, look at the coaches they've hired. They hire a high school coach. Right. They hire, you know, I mean, Davies wasn't, I like Davies, but, you know, he wasn't really ready for prime time.
Right.
And they hired this, whale. You know, so, you know, this guy is not a head football coach. And they had Brian Kelly available to them last time.
He's a Cincinnati coach, ladies and gentlemen.
And he went to St. John's Prep. And Brian Kelly is an Irish guy, and you know but now he's. What'd you say?
Loyal.
But
Mark, could he be available? Could he be available?
Well, he clearly was available when they hired Weiss. Now he's the darling. You know, they're saying, could Cincinnati go to the championship game, which is baloney.
Right.
But you know, they're saying he could be one of the best coaches in all of football right now. You know, he loses his quarterback in the second quarter last night, and then he brings in this running quarterback, and they win the game.
Yeah.
And they win the game in a, away game.
Right.
They were jacked up, and he's a great coach.
So, I mean, in other words, would he leave Cincinnati? I mean, probably would, right? I mean, Notre Dame football.
I mean, that's the view. You know, they are the darlings of Cincinnati, although the Bengals are having a little better year.
Yeah.
So, you know, when the Bengals were doing lousy, you know,
Cincinnati was
they were the team for Cincinnati, and he loves it at Cincinnati.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to shift. You want to continue? So let's shift gears a little bit.
To USC, Notre Dame.
Yeah, USC. We have a big, because tomorrow's a big game with USC and Notre Dame. Mark, what are your predictions there in that game? What do you think?
Okay. Now, I'm loyal to Notre Dame, but I think USC is going to win. And I think if USC wins, basically it's that Pete Carroll is a better coach than Weiss. I think that USC is vulnerable this year. They have some questions on offense. They have some questions on defense. They are beatable. Notre Dame could beat them, but I think you'll find that Charlie Weiss can't play the big game and that Pete Carroll can.
So, are you going to be like your brother Stephen then, and then root for USC in order to get rid of Weiss? So then, is that a next? Is that a next?
you know, how do we know who Stephen's rooting for?
Okay, I just want to shift gears a little bit to Devin, because speaking of Notre Dame and loyalty and all that kind of stuff, we found that Mark picked for Notre Dame 98% of the time. And Dev has analyzed statistics in the SFL, 32,000 plus games that have been picked by SFL pickers over the years. And Mark picked 98% of the time. I said, it must have been from a missed pick. But however, what did happen to Dev?
We found that in 2002, Mark did pick against Notre Dame in a USC game. So there's a precedent for Mark.
I used to have, Devin, I have a different picking theory every year because I'm such a bad picker. One time, and it could have been 2002, I decided that I would not do my picks unless I had at least 2 Jamesons before that. So that could have been the year. And maybe that year I had 3 Jeffersons.
He's not even thinking Notre Dame.
Yeah. But secondly, I found it hard to believe that Sean had not picked USC every time.
And it was in a Washington FC game.
That's wild.
In 03.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Devin, we were talking about the picks and the stats,
Right.
because you're our stats SFL expert, stats man, and so tell us a little bit about your analysis there and some things you found out from the stats.
Well, it's really great that you all have collected such great statistics to begin with, because the database is really easy to use. One of the things that I found is that you want to talk about the dogs and the...
Yeah, I want that, yeah.
Yeah, so we found that, I analyzed a whole bunch of the games, and it looks like you should avoid picking teams that are away...
Just tell them to look at the game.
Oh, look. You should avoid picking teams that are home dogs, but an away dog is your best bet. In fact, that's the one type of pick that has a better than 50% chance of winning in a given week. So that's a good thing to do.
So that's interesting, because it's kind of what you might call counterintuitive.
Right.
The home dog, everyone says the home dog, but yet it's the away dog that is really the better pick.
Right, because
statistically,
because Vegas already takes into account things like home teams do better.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
so when that like dogs, their relative disadvantage is taken into account by Vegas. So you've got to find something that Vegas doesn't know, and where their weightings are off and stuff like that. So it's interesting. But the one thing, it's actually changed over time too. I think Vegas has reanalyzed their systems and stuff, because the spread, I found that in the analysis things have changed across the years, that the same predictors don't hold up over the time.
So, Mark, and you were saying that, well, you're not always going to have, an away dog.
Right.
In the thing, because the away team could actually be the favorite.
Right.
But actually, so what would be a backup plan if you were coaching someone and making picks?
The big thing I found is don't pick home teams. Overall, you're better off picking away teams.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. If you had picked all away teams, would you win it?
It looks like would you win it? No, because Bill, is such an unbelievably good picker. You can't, he had that .56 year. You can't be a 56% winning percentage in this league.
Yeah.
What's incredible about Bill is it's just too bad Bill couldn't pick lottery numbers.
Come on, Bill.
I know.
Become a millionaire.
I know Bill loves to win the SFL, but he is incredible. I've always said
Well, that's signaling. That was it. That means
The show is over.
Hey, thanks very much. Vanderbilt University, the SFL Today. Thank you.
Go Commodore!